So we have this person object with a walk method. Now let's modify this method and do a console.log of this. What is this? This is a special keyword in JavaScript which confuses a lot of developers because it doesn't behave the same as this in other programming languages like C# or Java. In these languages, this always returns a reference to the current object. Let me show you. So here, I'm going to call person.walk, save the changes, back in the browser. So we see our person object on the console. So in this case, this is returning a reference to this person object, right? However, this in JavaScript does not always work that way. Let me show you why. So I'm going to define a constant, call it walk, and set it to person.walk. Note that I'm not calling the walk method, I'm just getting a reference to this function. So walk is now a function. Let me show you. So console.log of walk. Now back in the browser. So you can see our walk constant is set to this function, right? Now let's see what happens when we call this function. So I'm going to call walk, save the changes, back in the browser. What's going on here? So we don't get a reference to the person object. We get undefined. That's why I told you that this keyword in JavaScript behaves differently from other programming languages. The value of this is determined by how a function is called. If we call a function as a method in an object, this will always return a reference to that object. However, if we call a function as a standalone object or outside of an object, this will return the global object, which is the window object in browsers. But in this particular implementation, we didn't see the window object here, we got undefined. The reason for this is because in this React project, the strict mode is enabled by default. If you're not familiar with the strict mode, it's basically a mode to execute JavaScript code in a more protective way. So it prevents potential problems. That's why, in this case, instead of getting a reference to the window object, we get undefined.